Hello everyone, it's Mindy, and it is WIP and chat time, and I got some things to talk about. I mean, when don't I have things to talk about, right? I always have things to talk about. Now, let me move that a little bit. I can reach it a little bit better. I have gotten started. I have gotten started on my Craftibly for Craftibly Craze. I haven't gotten a lot done. I just did this last night. It went really fast. It's rounds. Yay, it's rounds. I haven't worked on a round diamond painting in so long. I was just like, that was my one requirement for my Craftibly Craze painting, is that it be in rounds, because I was just needing a round in my life. As you'll notice, we're sitting at the kitchen table today to do this video because the Chuck Pinson is still in the office on my table. And I'm not taking it off that table until it's done. And I'm so close. I am so close. I mean, it's still quite a bit it's still quite a few drills to put down. Let me just say that. But I'm getting there. I'm getting there. And it's going to get finished. I'm like determined. So that's why I hadn't even started this until yesterday, which is the 3rd. I didn't put a drill on it until the 3rd. I know. But there's a lot of color blocking on this. It's round drills. It's going fast. So I'm pretty sure I can put a good hurt on it anyhow in the month of June. Will I finish it? I don't know. You know, summertime for me just gets really busy. I have flowers to plant. I have flowers to tend to, weeding to do, outdoor things to do. Oh, and let's not even talk about the extra things that has been added to the list lately. We're going to talk about those in a minute. We will talk about those. Anyhow, I am so happy with the response to the Craftibly Craze tribute. I am so happy that so many people are participating and showing beautiful paintings just to honor our wonderful friends and the fantastic company that Craftibly has always been. Yeah. I mean, what more can you say? Without getting too emotional about the whole thing, I'm just going to say thank you for participating. Thank you for all of the support that you gave them over the years and for continuing to love their paintings. They're still out there, folks. They are still out there. There are people with Craftiblies. I have Craftiblies to last me, I don't even know how long. A long time. But just thank you. That's all I can say is just thank you. It's wonderful to see. I'm enjoying every single post that I see with a different painting. And sometimes I'm like, oh, I love that one. There was a couple I've seen. I was like, oh man, those were contenders. They were on the short list. And so I'm going to really be kind of watching those a little more closely. You know what I mean? Just to see how they turn out. I think they're beautiful. Anyhow, with that being said, postings go in the Facebook group Diamond Moments and Crafts. There is a weekly post, and you only post one time. So really the recommendation was just make sure you have a good amount of a diamond painting to do, at least a 30 by 40 section. We were not requiring any new starts or anything like that, but you know, have a good chunk to go. Post your start picture, whatever it looks like at your start. It could be brand new. It could be already started. You post a picture for week 1. Week 1 is still running, folks. It runs until the 7th, which is Friday. A new post will go up Saturday morning. So week 1. Oh, you know what? That works out just perfect. That actually works out just perfect. Because what we're going to do is we're going to give away prizes on my live which is on Saturday night. So that is perfect. That would give me time on Saturday to get all of the entries for the week ready to do a drawing on Saturday night. So we can do that. I'm going to have to check with Brandy and Kara to make sure that Saturday night, this first Saturday, the 8th, is good for them. And we can do our drawing, our first drawing for our first prize, which are Craftibly paintings. I believe, I still don't have a solidified list of the diamond paintings that we have. I know I have one that was donated by Brenda. I believe that's the Watcher. I still need to go grab something out of my stash, which is what we're doing. We're using our stash, and then the one that Brenda sent us. And I think we're going to have, I don't know, 4 or 5 possibly. I need to get with both of them. They've been at a retreat all weekend long, and they've been busy. And then Brandy is now in her labs for her classes. And so that's kind of tying up her time, but I'll get with them as soon as I can, and we'll figure out what the paintings are, which ones we have collectively that we're giving away. And we'll start doing some drawings and giving away those paintings on Saturday nights. Sounds good, doesn't it? Yeah, sounds good. All right. Any questions about that, please feel free to reach out and I will answer your questions. It seems pretty simple. There's not a whole lot of rules and forms to fill out or anything. Just post once a week under the listed post for the week, and they will say week 1, week 2, week 3. So they're easy to find. I always have them pinned to the top of the page of Diamond Moments and Crafts on Facebook. The giveaways, of course, will be done on my channel on Saturday night. All right, everybody follow along with that. Seems fairly straightforward, but like I said, any questions, let me know. Okay. I am super pleased with my choice, the Summer Sun. This couldn't have been a better painting for me to pick out, I don't think, for right now. It's got the sunflowers, it's got butterflies and bees, and it is my world around here in the summertime. And it's round, and I'm like, everything just clicked. Everything clicked. I'm super happy with my choice. All right, super happy with it. So I'm going to just cruise along as fast as I can. I'm going to make a butterfly here pretty soon. See that pretty butterfly? We're going to get to that pretty soon. I haven't used any ABs yet or any crystals. There's one crystal. Oh, I think it's going to be right here. I think we're going to get to that. There's a crystal right there. And then there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ABs. And I haven't touched an AB yet, but I'm certain it's coming. It's coming. It's coming, right? All right. My tray is from Bella Art Nicole. I got it at the Mingle and the Mitten retreat. Someone was just brought a bunch of stuff that they were just giving to good homes. And I snagged several more Bella Art Nicole trays. I like this one with the corner spout. It is my favorite tray. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why. It is just one of my favorite trays. I use this type of tray all of the time. I love them. So we all have what we like, and this is one of the things I like. My pen is from Candylicious. Yeah, it is one of my most recent pens from her. It is stunning. It is gorgeous. It's got purple and blue and green and yellow in it. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. So I have, what do I have? 2 from her now? 2, 3. I think I have 3 from her. I think I got 1 from my friend Sue. She had purchased one and she just didn't care for it. It was too long or something, so she gave it to me. So I have that one, and I have the 2 that I have purchased. I believe I just purchased 2. However, I recently put my name in the hat. She's been putting out blanks. if you don't follow her on Facebook. It's Candylicious. I'll try to remember to link her below. It's Candylicious Pens or something like that. And she's been doing like blank drops, and you hop on and you claim the blank. You're like, I want sea candy, or I want whatever. She has a certain thing you're supposed to say. And then she'll just come back if you got it. You have to be the first one. So you have to be on top of her drops. One was the other morning at like 4 in the morning or something. Yeah, it was 4 or 4:30 in the morning, our time. She also lives in Michigan. And I just happened to be up at like 5 in the morning. The dogs were up and they got me up and I was awake and I was looking at my phone and I was like, oh man, she just dropped a whole bunch of pen blanks. I've managed to snag 2 more. Now, they're not actually in production yet. I'll be in whatever her rotation is to produce them. And when she's ready to do my pens, how she works things is she'll get with you and ask you what you'd like. She'll draw up some shapes, maybe, things like that. And then you can kind of specify. Like I always specify, I like mine pretty thin. And the most important part is a thin grip here. I like a thin grip. Now, this style, and I think this is called the baseball bat, where it has like this, it looks like the end of a baseball bat. It's on both ends. And I didn't think I would like it. I'm used to just a round bump here at the end, but I'm not hating it. I'm not hating it. I probably wouldn't ask for it to be the baseball bat end, but I don't hate it. It's okay. Like I said, for me, the most important part of a pen is the grip area where my fingers actually hold it. The weight of it has to be thin. It can't be super thick because super thick pens tend to get heavier, and I don't like a heavy pen because I flip my pen a lot, right? Flip it a lot, see? Flip it. Let's do a flip. But she does some great work, and she has been getting some beautiful blanks, absolutely gorgeous blanks. So I'm excited whenever I'm in line to get my next 2. I'm super excited. I'm also excited to tell you that she also does diamond paintings of her art. Her name is Heather. She has many coloring books. I have at least 1 or 2 of her coloring books. But she started producing her artwork as diamond paintings, and the first order is here. I actually have a tracking number. I do. I have a tracking number. So that's exciting. That means she has sent it out. It should be here very soon. Because like I said, she lives in Michigan. I live in Michigan. It shouldn't take that long to get to me now that I have a tracking number, right? Right? I'm super excited to see it. It's super cute. She does a lot of fun things in her Facebook group. She's been showing paintings because they'll come to her and she's able to open them up and look through them. And she's been showing them on like some live videos, which I always miss those. I never know when those are. But she's showing the paintings. She's also showing some new artwork that she's been working on, asking what people would think about them as diamond paintings. So kind of like your opportunity to voice your opinion if you would like it as a diamond painting. She's got some adorable things, some cute, cute stuff. She does these little girls. They're called Lacy Sunshine. And I know that I have a Lacy Sunshine book. Positive I have one of those. And they're just cute. Super cute girls. The one I have, I believe, I still need to go downstairs and look it up. I need to go look through my stash of coloring books and find it. But I believe it's like farm girls with animals and pigs and sheep and all that kind of stuff. Anyhow, that's that. I'm looking forward to getting that painting. Like I said, it should be here soon. I got the tracking number a few days ago. So, and of course, I mean, making a tracking number is one thing. actually getting it to the post office is another thing, right? But my guess is it should be coming fairly soon. Anyhow, super excited to see it when it gets here. I think it's super cute. Super cute. You guys will have to wait and see it when I get it. Open it. Yeah. Anyhow, that was a long story to tell you what pen I was using, right? Anyhow, back to work we go here. Back to work we go. See, it goes fairly quickly. It really does. There is a lot of multi-placing on this, and I think that's going to be the case through the whole thing. There's just a lot of multi-placing. I need more sticky stuff in my multi-placer. Need more sticky stuff. It's probably time to take it out and replace it, but me, being me, kind of lazy about it, I just keep adding more to the pen, and, you know, sometimes that doesn't work all that well. It comes out easier than if I put fresh, because I use Night Your Mama's Mud. If I put fresh in there, it lasts longer than just a new dip. A new dip. Anyhow, so next thing, I mean, Kara and I really need to get together and talk. Maritza will kind of just follow along with us and be like, okay, she'll, you know, she's very busy and she works full time and takes care of her dad and all that. So Kara and I will probably be the ones to plan our July event, which is something groovy, hippie, I don't know, grooving in the summer. I don't know what it's going to be. We did Melodies of May several years ago, three of us, and we had just a blast. We did Melody and blinged her up and had a great time. I totally plan on adding bling to, we're all doing Groovy Girl, the Hannah Lynn Groovy Girl. I totally plan on adding bling to that. I haven't blinged up anything in a while, but this one I'm going to have to. I'm going to have to, because there are so many cool, groovy, groovy places to add some extra sparkle to that one. It's going to be fun. So I had to get with Kara and plan this thing out. Plan it better than we did Craftibly. We were all busy, and I was planning a retreat, last minute retreat. Kara was planning a retreat. I was going on vacation. There was just a lot going on. And I'm like, we kind of put the Craftibly thing together on the fly. You know what I mean? So anyhow, more details will be coming about our summer event with the Groovy Girl. Groovin' July. Groovin' July? Groovin' summer? Groovin', I think. Something groovy. Groovy July. I don't know. Tell me if you have an idea. I'm kind of leaning towards Groovy July, maybe. And you don't have to do the Groovy Girl. You don't have to do her. Just, you need to do something that is in that same vein, shall we say. Hippie, hippie, flower, groovy. That's what you'll need to work on. We work on Groovy Girl. There you go. Get ready for that. Like I said, I'm going to try to call Kara this week and really make some headway on it. Her retreat's done now. Her Dakota-thon is done now. We should be able to get our acts together. What do you think? I think we should. So look forward to that. And then, of course, August is right around the corner after that. And as you know, August is smashing the specials. It's kind of interesting. My schedule has been very interesting. May, I took off. But June, this is interesting. June is me, Kara, and Brandy. July is me, Kara, and Maritza. And then August, I'm going back to me and Brandy. Just my little group of friends. We're just, diamond painting together, having a good time, doing different things each month. We're just having a grand old time here. We're having a groovy time. Oh, God. You can tell me to stop. Just say, Mindy, stop. Just stop. Anyhow, All right. So this week. Well, last week really was our first week back from vacation. So we just had a lot of, stuff to do, getting back in the groove of things, back in the groove. That groove word just keeps coming up. Groove is going to groove or groovy. Grooving, that's going to have to be in that title because it's really groovy. Groovy time of life. Yeah, just getting back into the swing of everything. Dale had a dentist appointment yesterday. So back in, oh my gosh, late 23, Dale had an issue with one of his teeth when he went to the dentist. He'd switched dentists, came over to my dentist, and went in for his checkup, cleaning and whatever, and the dentist was like, there's something going on with this tooth. Now, let me just tell you Dale's tooth history real quick. Years ago, before him and I were together again, he had an injury to his mouth. He had a air compressor hose come flying off and cracked him with this big wrench type thing right in his front of his mouth. Definitely messed up his two front teeth, and he had to have surgery. He had to have a bone transplant from another part of his mouth to build up his jaw there, all kinds of stuff. And he had two teeth that he needed implants for because they had to come out. So he went through that long before him and I were together again. Well, and here's my philosophy, anyhow, take it for what it's worth, is that even though the two teeth beside the two front ones did not need to be removed or anything at that time, I think they took some damage. There was some stress. That was the UPS man. There was some stress caused to the other two teeth on either side of the two front teeth. And over the years, things have happened to those other teeth. That's just my theory. I'm not a dentist. I could be completely wrong, but it makes sense to me. While we've been married, he has had another implant on one of the other front teeth next to the two front teeth. And back in the end of 23, my dentist, his new dentist, was like, yeah, I think there's something going on with that. Sent him to the specialist because he thought it might need a root canal. Specialist was like, well, there's an abscess in there. I'm going to have to cut into your gum and get in there and get it out. When he did all that, he got in there and he said, yeah, and I think that there's problems with the tooth. There's a crack, there's this, there's that, and you're probably going to have it removed. Okay, it's a front tooth. Nobody wants to run around with a big old gap in the front of your mouth. So he was like, well, the only other choice for him is to have another implant. He couldn't do like a partial, a bridge or anything. They will not attach those to implanted teeth. So there was only really one option to get him another tooth, and that was another implant. So here's my short story gone long, right? Had the tooth pulled like in January. Had to go to a different dentist. Had to go to the specialist, the implant specialist. He pulled the tooth, and then the tooth, that whole thing has to heal, right? And then they had a scheduling snafu like crazy. The dentist was on vacation and this and that. And so Dale finally, since this probably was in February, finally got in to get the next step of the implant under motion. The next step is to put an anchor in. That's what they call them, an anchor. It's a great big screw type thing that gets screwed into your bone to anchor the implant to. So he got that done yesterday. I was surprised. I took him. He thought he might be in a lot of pain or be out or whatever. I took him in case he needed me to drive him home or whatnot. He was done with that in like 30 minutes. It was crazy how fast it was. Of course, the worst part about that procedure is the shots. because if you've ever had a shot in the front of your mouth, they're horrible. They're horrible. The shot to numb you, it feels like it's going to come out your eyeballs. Seriously, they're horrible. I know, I've had a few. But he was out in 30 minutes, and he had his anchor in, and he's got all these instructions of things he can't do, things to do, pain meds. The pain meds are just over the counter pretty much. But he's got to take care of it. He's got a saltwater rinse. He's got to do this, no straws, all this other stuff. Checkup in 2 weeks. He thinks he has some stitches in there, which would make sense. I could not see stitches, but it was still pretty raw, and he was still bleeding and that kind of stuff. So I couldn't see if there's stitches, but it would make sense that there are. Goes back in 2 weeks for a checkup, and then makes an appointment to get his tooth in 4 months. Another 4 months. Implants are no joke, you guys. They're no joke. I mean, they take a long time. There's a lot of healing that needs to take place. There's just a lot of time. And let's not even talk about the expense. You don't even want to know that. He walked out and he was just like, wow, okay. But even that's after insurance. After the insurance even. You know, and we have a very good dental insurance. We have one of the best dental insurances, our dentists tell us. But, man. So, anyhow, he's feeling okay. He said last night it was just throbbing as he's trying to go to sleep, of course, right? Night times always seem to be the worst for any pain or condition. They're just, nights are the worst, I swear. But he's off to get tacos today. He can't eat anything crunchy for at least the 2 weeks. So soft tacos for him, which is fine. Yesterday, he didn't really eat anything at all. He got some Jell-O. We went to the store and got some more Tylenol and ibuprofen and acetaminophen, whatever they are. I always forget which name brand is which, but those 2 drugs, Tylenol, acetaminophen, and ibuprofen. And he's off to get tacos. Anyhow, yeah, that's Dale's little story. Not my story, but Dale's story. But it's quite the procedure, and they won't do an implant on everybody. They have to know that you are capable of, you know, going through what it takes to get an implant, because they're no joke. They are no joke. So, tacos for him, recording for me. That's the day today. Dogs are sleeping. They're taking a nap over here in the kennel. You might hear them snoring from time to time. Toffee likes to snore a lot. They have to get into the vet. And if you've heard my story about the kitties, getting the kitties into a vet was like super hard. I called multiple vets trying to get the one kitty into the vet, and they were all booked until middle of June. Now my dogs need their yearly checkup. I need to do that today. Call my vet and get them in for their checkup, which at this point I'm sure will be like in July sometime. So it's crazy. There is literally a vet shortage. So they are booked. Kind of crazy, isn't it? Okay, I gotta look for a symbol I haven't used yet. I call it the telephone pole, the utility pole. Looks like a utility pole. I don't know. Oh, there's not very many in this bag. I hope this is the only place I use them. Looks like it is. Looks like this is the only place they go. It's like right here. All right then. Okay. So yeah, I gotta call and get an appointment for them. But they have met the kitties. They have definitely met the kitties. The kitties are adorable. The little kitty with the hurt leg is starting to use it a little bit. He can get it underneath him now, and he pushes off with it a little bit. The vet did call yesterday to check up on the kitty and see how it was doing and see if I felt like we needed to come in and have a recheck or what. And I told her how everything was going, and I said I have noticed that the claws don't come out on that back foot, on that paw. They never come out, those claws. So I was like, is that like a nerve thing? Like, there was a puncture wound in the rear there, kind of close to the hip area. Could it have been a nerve thing that happened? Did that puncture get a nerve, which caused the leg to not work properly? And she's like, it is very likely. That is very likely. That is, a good deduction. I've seen it happen. I'm like, okay. And now that it's starting to use the leg a little bit more, you think that will come back? And she's like, it is totally possible. It's a good sign that the kitty is starting to use it again and starting to try to push off with it and, do things that kitties do with their legs, fight with your brother or, So yeah, really pleased with the progress that the kitty's made so far. And it's only been like a week, So I'm happy with that. So we're just going to keep an eye on the little tyke and see how he goes. I think his name is, I always forget it. Why can't I remember it? I always forget the name we're going to call that one. The other two are easy. The orange cat we've been calling Sunny, and the gray cat we've been calling Misty. Smokey. Here we go. It's Smokey. Because he has got these like smoky bedroom eyes. That's what I would call him. The smoky bedroom eyes. He is just beautiful. He's gorgeous. So I let Josh know yesterday or the day before. I sent him a picture of the kitties, and he's like, wait, what? Kitties? Okay, so I called him. I had to explain the whole story of the kitties. Thirsty. So I explained the whole entire story of the kitties, how we got the kitties, sent him a picture of the kitties, and he's like, oh my goodness. He goes, so what are you doing with the kitties? I'm like, well, we're not certain. I told him that right now it's a lot of handling and getting them used to people and getting them more friendly, getting them out and about. Oh, out and about. Oh, we'll talk about that in a second. But he's like, he said, well, I've kind of thought about getting Milo a friend. And I'm like, oh, you might want a kitty? And he goes, maybe. He said, I might. I don't know. He said, I got to think about it. He said, it would be fun for Milo, I think, to have a friend. It would be more work for me. He said, I don't know. I got to think about it. Guess who shows up after work yesterday? Just shows up after work. Josh. Yep, Josh shows up. He just stopped just to see the kitties. And I'm like, okay, well, here they are. Come on. So we went downstairs and got the kitties and played with the kitties a little bit. Got the kitties out, let them run around. Of course, they got into some places, some little hidey holes, had to get them out. But he's like, well, so you're clearly keeping the dark one. And I was like, yeah, we're keeping the dark one. That's the first one I fell in love with. And now we have money into him. So yeah, he's a keeper for us. The other one, the little gray one's a girl. And he's like, I don't think I want a girl. I mean, Milo's a boy. I mean, I know it doesn't really matter, but I'm like, well, then the other one is the orange kitty. So he started playing with the orange kitty, and he loves the orange kitty, and we'll see how it goes. But for now, we're keeping them. We're working on still socializing because, we can do that. We're home. Josh works, has a full-time job. He wouldn't be able to put as much time right now into the socializing aspect. And they've really come a long way. The little girl is still the most timid. She still takes the most work to get her to come out of the kennel or to anything new. Like yesterday. Yesterday, got the kitties out, and Dale brings them and puts them on the couch with me and the dogs. Both dogs are on the couch, and he brings the kitties and plops the kitties down. Well, Tifa was sleeping pretty good, and she didn't notice for quite a while that the kitties were on the couch. And when she did, she kind of just looked over at them, and she was a little wary, but not too bad. Her and Smokey were nose to nose, and then Tifa was just kind of like, okay, I've seen them, I'm good, and she hopped down. Toffee, on the other hand, Toffee was the one who I thought would probably have more of a problem. She just laid on the couch. The cats were crawling all over her, and she's just laying there. She's right next to me, so I know she felt safe and secure and all that. But she's just laying there, letting the kitties crawl on her and looking at them. They got right up in her face, and so they met the dogs. The dogs met them. Everything went well. Little Misty, of course, had to do her little, at the dog. Like, yeah, she's funny. Anyhow, kitty life. It has been a long time since we've had a kitty, and boy, oh boy. They played around in the living room, ran around in the living room, got underneath the coffee table. I got books underneath the coffee table. There's a lower shelf, and they played around on that, and played around on the other little end table, and jumped off the couch. Oh yeah, they jumped off the couch. And then the one chair that we have that twirls, it rocks and it swivels, they got underneath it. I didn't like them underneath it. They got underneath the couch. They were just everywhere. Just being kitties, right? Finally, I was like, okay, we need to collect them. Then they got out here in the kitchen, in the dining room, playing underneath the table and the chairs and running in between all the chair legs and this and that. And wow, they got energy. So they're a hoot. They're fun. During the day, we go outside and we get the ducks out, the baby ducks. Yeah. Been putting them into a little wired dog kennel. Didn't know at first if they could get through the holes or not. They tried hardcore, but they can't get out. They're just big enough. They can get like their head out and neck, but their little chubby bodies can't get out the holes. So we get them out every day. Let them sit over underneath the tree in the shade so they get some breeze. They can get to the grass, eat the grass. And then we put a pan of water in there. A pan of water. It's a little square. It's like, if you're familiar with the old enamel dishes, they're white enamel, and they had like either a blue trim around the edge or a red trim. We have a few of those. And we have a square pan like that. And we leave it out there underneath the tree with water for the ducks and the chickens during the day. Well, we've been putting it in this dog kennel with the duckies, and so they'd have water. And of course, being ducks, ducks are going to do what? They're going to get in the water. Of course, we put them in the water the first time. Just kind of picked up one and not dropped it, but, put it into the dish of water. And it was like, oh. At first it was like, didn't know what to think, got a little flustered. And then it was like, oh, this is nice. This is fun. So now that's the daily routine. Get the kitties out, play with the kitties a couple times a day. Get the ducks out, put them in the dog kennel, let them play out there. And since we're home, we wouldn't do it if we aren't home. We're home to keep a good close eye on them. The chickens will just come up and like look in there like, hey, what's that? The ducks don't usually even come over there. Like, they don't even care what's in the little kennel. But we keep an eye on them, so, nothing can get to them, or, watching them pretty closely. But they're having a good old time. And growing like weeds. Ducks are one of the fastest growing animals. I swear. These little duckies have doubled in size in just what, 2 weeks, a week and a half. How long have they been here? I don't know. They have doubled in size. That's how fast they grow. They grow like weeds. Seriously, grow like weeds. But they're fun. So this is life, folks. This is life for the summer. Kitties, ducks. Oh, and then we have the craziness going on in the coop. The mama duck that was sitting on the eggs, she continued to sit on them for several days. And then one day she was just like, I'm done. And she got up and she left. That was it. She was done. Walked away. And we were like, oh, okay. Before we could go in there and actually take the eggs out, a chicken hopped on them. A chicken has been in there sitting on the eggs for a week now. A week. Just sitting on the eggs. And we've checked them, and we've taken some away that looked like they weren't producing anything. They just looked like a yolk and the white part. There wasn't any thickness or anything developing in there. We took a few away and left her with 6. Like, okay, you want to sit on these eggs? Let's see what happens. So we have left her for, like I said, about a week now, sitting on these eggs. Well, she was off the eggs earlier today, and Dale looked in there as he was collecting the eggs, and he's like, she has 9. I'm like, what? She was down to 6. We took everything but 6. Now she has 9. So the little turd is collecting the eggs. She's just gathering up more eggs and putting them in her little stash there. I'm like, okay, this is crazy. So Dale said that he thinks today, probably today, he's going to go out there and he's just going to take the eggs and he's going to kick her out. And I'm like, well, at some point that has to happen because, has to happen. If they're not hatching, and some of them have been in there, we would assume some of them have been in there for a month and a half, maybe. If they're not hatching at this point, it's probably going to be time to just be like, okay, we got 3 ducklings out of the deal, and we're done. we're done. Okay. So she probably won't be happy about it, but get on with your life. Go be a chicken. You're not a duck. You don't have to raise ducks. You don't have to be a duck mommy. You really don't. So we're getting close to that point where we're just gonna be like, okay, we're done. You're done. Everybody's done. Time for them to go away. So crazy animal world. Crazy, crazy animal world. We had something interesting happen yesterday when Josh was here. Dale has finally cut down the tree out back that he wanted to. There was one tree that had fallen. It was dead. And he wanted to get it out of the back. So he cut it. I got some video of it. Of course, I have video of it. How my husband manhandles these trees, right? So he took that tree's branches and has made more barrier between us and the neighbors to keep the chickens home and not going over to their yard. Well, yesterday when Josh was here, the deer were coming up from the back. 2 deer. And because of that new brush over there, it kind of blocked their path that they normally would scoot out of the back woods and scoot around our bushes over here into the yard and go, across the street. Well, because this brush was in their path, they ended up going out into the pond. I mean, into the pond. The one, and I believe that one was a girl, was into the pond almost up to its chest. And I'm like, I have never seen the deer walk out into the pond that far. But they were out there. And then another one showed up, a bigger one. A boy showed up. And the boy, being a boy, thought it was, bow chicka wow wow time in the pond. And started trying to, say, hey, baby. And she was like, no. And she's hopping and leaping in the pond and running away from him. It was hilarious. I'd never seen anything happen. I don't think I got that on video. I know I didn't. I missed that. That all happened so quickly, but it was just like we all stood here looking out the windows like, okay. Like, wow. Interesting animal world I live in out here. I'm telling you. It's fun. I love my animals though. One day last week, I was in the house and I heard like yelling. And I'm like, who is yelling? What in the world is going on? What is this yelling about? So I open up the front door and I step out on the porch and I see a probably teenage girl standing in the road. And she's the one doing the yelling. And I'm like, what is she yelling about? And then I see in our front yard, something catches my eye running through our front yard. And I'm thinking it's a deer. And I look and I'm like, oh, no, it's not. It's the Doberman Pinscher that lives over in the other neighborhood down at the end of the road. It's the Doberman Pinscher. And he's running back towards the road, towards the girl. And I'm like, oh, okay. So she's out there yelling at the dog. The dog is loose and running around. And I'm like, oh, shoot, chickens, ducks, dogs. Dogs love to chase, catch, kill chickens, ducks. And the dog did not have any bird in its mouth or anything like that. But I'm thinking, where are my chickens? Where are my ducks? Are they okay? You know? And I started stepping out into the yard to go see where the chickens and the ducks were at. When coming around from the side of the house comes Marmaduke. That's what we call the dog, is Marmaduke. Great big old Great Dane. Comes lopping around from the other side of the house. And I was like, oh, so they're both here. Both of the dogs are here running around in the yard, probably chasing the chickens. I'm like, okay. Well, she was calling them. She never came into the yard, which was the interesting thing. She never came into our yard to like try to get them. She just stood out there in the road yelling at them. Well, she got them. She got them. They headed on their way on their walk. They walk up and down our road every day. And I walked around back and I found Dale, who was behind the house in the flower bed weeding. And I was like, hi. So did the dog come back here? And he goes, oh yeah, yep, it was back here. And I was like, hey, what are you doing? The chickens all ran, he said, and were hiding underneath the bushes. And I'm like, I'm sure that they did. And he's like, hey, you better get out of here. And the dog saw him and was like, ooh, and he turned the other direction and booked. I'm like, okay, well, interesting. We had dog visitors coming to visit our chickens and our ducks. Last night, Dale and I were going for a walk, and there was an older lady with the dogs. And we actually talked to her for a little bit. And, she was like, yeah, I'm grandma, she said. My daughter had knee surgery. So she's the lady that I normally see walking the dogs. I mean, she's probably like 50 or whatever, She had knee surgery, so I'm helping her out. And that's why I've seen a variety of people walking the dogs lately and not her, the lady that I'm used to seeing, because she can't. So we talked to Grandma a little bit. And she said, yeah, I heard the story, they just got away from her. And she said, they're really, really good. And I said, oh, I'm sure they are. I said, we see them all the time. And you can tell that they're well behaved and whatnot, but there's just something about a chicken or a duck, and dogs that, irresistible. She goes, yeah, I'm glad they didn't do anything, but, I'm like, yeah, me too. Crisis, no crisis, crisis averted, there wasn't one. So, but that was a funny thing to happen. I'm telling you, my animal life, I'm telling you what. But anyhow, I hope you guys are having a good week. I've been able to get a couple walks in this week. I want to walk as much as possible. It really helps. Just a good walk, good exercise, you know. If I could do that consistently, I know that it would help me lose a little bit more weight. It's just, you know, life gets away from you sometimes. And like, we went out one day and shopped for flowers, and then we came home and we planted flowers the rest of the afternoon, and just things happen. Things happen. Life happens. But trying to get back into a little routine and a little schedule, you know what I'm saying? Routines and schedules. I kind of miss that a little bit. I used to have a routine and a schedule. Of course, when I worked, and then when I was retired and Dale wasn't retired, I had a routine, I had a schedule, and he retired, and it's kind of like, where's my routine? Where did my schedule go? I need it back. I need it back. So, anyhow, I think that's all I have to talk to you about right now. I think that's it. I'm kind of excited to go see what's on my porch. Maybe it's that painting I was telling you about. And that's not the name of the paintings. Candylicious is the pens. The paintings, I think, are, I don't know, something like gem art or something like that. I'll tell you when I get it and I do the unboxing of it. I'll tell you. But I think I'm going to let you guys go. Look how pretty that is. And I actually got to do a crystal. Still no ABs, but I got a little crystal in there. I'm going to do the butterfly next. I'm going to do the butterfly, and then I'm going to move this direction. And I just opened up the plastic and I just started going. I don't have any release papers on it or anything like that. I'm just a going. Just a going. So I'm liking it. Pretty. All right. Post your pictures. Remember, you'll have until Friday night at midnight on the 7th, the 14th, 21st, the 28th. 7, 14, 21, 28. Yeah, that's how it's going to roll, folks. And then the Saturdays will be the giveaways on my channel at 7 o'clock. Be there. See if you win. Okay. I will talk to everybody soon. Thanks for watching. Bye, everyone.